Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News. Today we have Scott Richardson joining us in the studio. Scott is running in the Republican primary runoff for House District 13.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining us. It has been a while since you have been here
Yes.
with Conduit.
Yes, way back when Paul Harrell was around. So,
yeah. So for any new listeners or viewers that we may have, just briefly introduce yourself to them.
Sure. So I'm Scott Richardson. I have lived in Arkansas my entire life. I grew up in Atkins, which is kind of north central, maybe a little bit northwest Arkansas, and went to Arkansas Tech for both my undergraduate and graduate, and sort of migrated up into the northwest corridor after that. So I'm a lifelong Arkansan, love our state, and enjoy spending a lot of time here. I have 5 kids. They range in age from 5 all the way up to 21.
Oh my gosh.
So I spend a lot of time with them and enjoy
Yeah.
having a lot of outdoor experiences. That's really where we focus. So from a political perspective, I've worked with the Republican Party here in Benton County for quite a while, and before that in other counties, and actually serve on our executive board there, helping out with a variety of different projects, and trying to work toward continuing to elect good, solid conservative Republicans into a variety of different positions.
So talk to us about that experience and then how that has translated over to now your runoff and your role running for House District 13.
Well, it's an interesting dynamic when you're working in a role that's working to promote and move the Republican Party forward, especially as a solid conservative, looking at different individuals and trying to determine, what kinds of roles they would do well in, what kinds of roles they would fit well in. There's a number of people out there that like to occasionally run on the Republican Party and a platform, and their values aren't necessarily aligned with what we consider to be strong Republicans. So, trying to weed through all of that and look at those opportunities. As a party, obviously, we're not allowed to endorse anyone in the primaries, but at the same time, when you're looking to recruit someone to run for a specific political position, you like to look for those good, solid conservatives that have the right mindset and the right values to fit the Republican need for conservatives in those positions.
You mentioned endorsements. You recently received the endorsements of 2 previous candidates in the primary race, Greg Payne, Aubrey Patterson. Talk to us about that, and has that helped you so far in this runoff?
Well, it was great to receive both of those endorsements. Greg and I seem to align in a lot of different areas from a conservative perspective, and also Aubrey and I had a number of conversations even before either one of us had decided to run, and afterwards. So those both are good, solid conservatives. They've both of them have solid track records of active participation in a variety of different areas. So being able to pick up those endorsements really solidified my position as the conservative candidate within this particular race. So we've actively marketed that and provided that to a variety of different people. Me knocking doors and talking with individuals. There were a number of people in the district that voted in those other 2 candidates, and now they're looking at me, and that's helpful from a swinging those votes over and solidifying my position as the right candidate for our district.
Yeah. So talk to us. Why are you the right candidate? Why are you the strong conservative, true conservative in this runoff as opposed to your opponent?
Well, we have a number of opportunities to discuss true conservative values. The biggest questions that exist are, without an extensive background of participation either in the Republican Party or actively in the community, it's very difficult to determine where somebody really sits. But once you start following the endorsements and the people that start getting behind a particular candidate, you can clearly see where they are positioned or where they are likely to be positioned once they are elected. The opportunity there for me is I'm being supported and backed by strong conservatives across the board, people that are for smaller government, less governmental influence on our lives, whereas my opponent's not. And so I fought very hard against a tax increase, specifically the half-cent forever tax that went in our Constitution last well, 2 years ago, last election. I was very strong against it, and even stood out against my other Republican opponents in that election against it, specifically for the reasons that we're seeing right now, where gas prices are really at the top end, or what we've seen ever, at least in my lifetime. So it's one of those things where you add insult to injury, so to speak. We've got a significant tax on top of a significant high gas price value, and that's hurting our individuals out there trying to make ends meet on a regular basis. So felt like that tax was a bad idea then. It's a forever tax, which sticks in the Constitution. It's also allotted specifically to the Arkansas Department of Transportation, so it's not like we can just stop it and send that money back to people, or change it on a whim, because it is a constitutional amendment, which creates all kinds of challenges for us at this point. That tax alone probably cost me that last race. It was being funded and pushed and lobbied by a number of groups in Little Rock. Now we have the same kind of situation that's happening. The same people that were for that tax and pushed for that tax have now rallied behind my opponent, and are trying to push her through at this stage, because they feel like that she aligns with their ideas as they move forward.
Well, and you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna mention that you experienced that before in a previous race, very close. We're now seeing the same landscape, just in a different way, but the same. So what is it going to take for you to win this race?
Well, I'm a fighter. When I feel like things are right, I'm going to fight for what's right, and I'll continue to push forward. What it's going to take is turnout. That's the reality of races like this. People have to get out and vote. If we can't get the turnout, can't rally the troops, so to speak, it's going to be a difficult run. We have some opportunity there. I continue to knock doors. We do have polling locations, and great locations for me this round, whereas last round we didn't have that. So get out and vote. You've got the opportunity. Take that time, take that 5 minutes. The only two things on this ballot is my name and her name. So pick one and come on out and vote for me.
All right. So early voting is underway. It ends the 20th. Election day is the 21st. Remind people the very specifics of your district in case they are not sure, if they fall within it.
So specifically, we run from on the east side about 24th Street in Rogers, the north corner being 102. And then it runs across 102 down to Bend Street, which is just outside of Centerton on the other side of Bentonville, and runs south from there to Regional Airport Road, and going out just past Greenhouse, going down to Windmill, and then comes back along the southern border to Pinnacle Hills area, and then back across and up to that northeast corner. So very compact district with a lot of different people, a lot of diversity within that realm. So it's a really good district.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming into Conduit. Anything else that you want to add before you go?
No. Just come out and vote. That's the big piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.